Gas-gas molekul dalam atmosfera dia selalu akan di-ionize dan dia escape daripada gravity Pluto. Bumi dari zaman dulu yang lama-lama tu, dia sebenarnya dia pun ada case macam tu juga. We have lost a large amount of hydrogen from the bumi. Way before the human race pun, dan dia dengan pemerhatian kepada Pluto contohnya, dia boleh menjawablah kenapa mungkin dia yang saintis percaya dia ada similar proses yang berlaku dekat Pluto yang pernah berlaku di bumi pada tahun-tahun yang lalu lah, maksudnya before the human race. Dia pun juga contohnya bumi dengan bulan kita ni, dia pun similar to the Pluto dengan dia punya Charon juga. Dia ada konsep teori dia yang macam mana pembentukan bulan di bumi kan. Maksudnya dia dengan pemerhatian Pluto dengan Charon, dia boleh menjawab, ada teori yang menjawab, yang mengatakan dia daripada benda proses yang berlaku di sana boleh menjawab kenapa pembentukan bulan di bumi kita. Inilah antara scientific dia punya scientific significance dia. Dan as you know, dia dah travel 9 tahun. Even masa 2006 tu banyak benda tak berlaku. Contohnya masa tu smartphone tak ada lagi, sekarang dah smartphone dah semua orang ada. Dia dah travel more than 4 billion kilometer. Now is about 4.7 billion kilometer from Earth. That's why dia punya communication time ni become 4 hours and 25 minutes one way, and round trip is about 9 hours, because the speed of the signal is travel around 30,000 km per second, which is the speed of light. So the signal goes and comes back to 4.7 billion kilometers, so it takes about 9 hours. So dari segi mission complication tu, sophistication of the mission, dia a lot of things dia kena plan early, because anything happen, it would take 9 hours, to send a command, and then you receive a acknowledgement of the command. So you have to be from the mission operation point of view, it will be very, very much difficult. And then also because it's too far away, the transmission speed, the signal speed between the New Horizon and the Earth is only 2 kilobit per second. We are talking about, even the old day modem, we are talking about 56 kilobit per second. Now it's only 2 kilobit per second. So that's why the data it captured during this closest approach, it will take until end of 2016 before everything is downloaded to Earth, because it's too far away. And because of that, it has a huge antenna, 2.1 meter, so that it can only have the enough power or the gain to send the signal back to Earth. Consider the size of the satellite is also only 0.7 meter tall, or 2.7 width and 2.1 meter high. So the antenna size is as big as the satellite, as big as the probe, actually not satellite, but. So I think more or less a little bit add on to Andy Zamni. I pass back to him for.
Thank you, Wayne. And kita lihat sekarang TV NASA TV telah beri reminder that New Horizon phones home. Dia punya event dia panggil phones home, call balik ke bumi, okay, daripada semalam. Kita harap signal tu akan sampai ke bumi by 9:02 this morning. So NASA TV akan start anytime. if any question before NASA TV, kita akan saksikan, we will celebrate lah the signal ataupun signal yang diterima dari semasa close approach semalam. Mungkin ada benda nak tanya sebelum kita start kita punya ni TV. So 8.30 PM ET ialah Eastern Time ataupun New York Time. New York Time dia 4 jam di belakang UTC. So kita sebenarnya dengan New York 12 jam 8.30 petang malam, 8.30 malam sana sebenarnya ialah.
Our program will start in 2 minutes.
Alright. Dalam masa 2 minit akan mula. So happy viewing. And let's celebrate the signal from Pluto, about 5 billion kilometer since yesterday. So kita terima hari ini. Kita tak ada lagu raya, semua orang tunggu lagu raya. Kita main angkat lagu raya sebelum asas start. So TV NASA juga kita streamline di website angkasa, website agensi angkasa negara. So kalau boleh bagi tahu kawan-kawan, sila ke website agensi angkasa negara.
Top an opening message from Stephen Hawking by confirming safe passage of the first spacecraft to Pluto, and that's what we plan to do tonight. We're live at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, for special coverage of NASA's New Horizons Pluto flyby. I'm Mike Buckley from APL Communications and Public Affairs, and at about 7:49 this morning, after 3 billion miles in 9.5 years, NASA's New Horizons zipped past Pluto at 31,000 miles an hour and capped the initial reconnaissance of the solar system. The New Horizons itself has been out of contact with Earth since 11:17 last night, speeding along in a flyby mode that has it collecting as much data as it can, as quickly as it can, but not able to call home at the same time. So tonight, audiences here at APL and around the world are listening for that call. Having left New Horizons nearly 4.5 hours traveling in December, the song New Horizons
It's been a long road, and getting from there to here. It's been a long time, but my time is finally here. I can feel it changing over my time. Nothing's in my way, and I'm not gonna hold down no more. No, I'm not gonna hold it down. 'Cause I've got faith. I'm going where the heart will take me. I've got faith to believe I can do anything. I've got strength. I'm strong. No one's gonna bend or break me. I can reach and start. I've got faith. I've got faith. Faith in the heart. It's been a long road, and getting from there to here. It's been a long time, but my time is finally here. I can feel it changing over my life. Nothing's in my way, and I'm not gonna hold down no more. No, I'm not gonna hold it down. 'Cause I've got faith. I'm going where the heart will take me. I've got faith to believe I can do anything. I've got strength. I'm strong. No one's gonna bend or break me. I can reach and start. I've got faith. I've got faith. Faith in the heart.
Now I'm joined by Mark Holdridge, New Horizons Encounter Mission Manager from the Applied Physics Lab, who will serve as our co-host for the evening. And Mark, thank you for lending your insights to the program.
Thanks, Mike. It's awesome to be here.
Let's take a quick look into the Mission Operations Center here at APL. And Mark, I'll ask you to look around and kind of describe what's happening in there, who's sitting where, and what's going on in that room.
Well, right now the engineering team's assembling, and looks like they're pretty well assembled. And the flight control team is going to be checking in with the Madrid station at the Deep Space Network. That's where the data is going to be coming in from tonight. And so they'll be doing comm checks, both voice and data, to make sure everything's configured right for tonight's contact.
Anything you have to do ahead of time, that right connection. Okay. We've now been joined by watching our programs, and Hal, first, welcome.
Thank you.
You can join us, and I tell you what, there may be some folks who are just picking up the New Horizons story, so let's just answer that one question. Why New Horizons? Why Pluto?
Yeah, well, we're here tonight because it's been 9.5 years. This is the payday, flying just about 7,500 miles above the surface of Pluto. You know, being 3 billion miles away from home, you know, you're worried. This is in deep space. We haven't contacted the spacecraft in almost a whole day. It's been really, really busy. It's been following our directions, making all these wonderful measurements of the Pluto system. And, we want to take a little bit of we want to get the spacecraft to turn back to the Earth and give us a little snippet of engineering data that'll tell us everything is okay before going back and making more wonderful observations of Pluto. So, after the discovery of all those moons of Pluto that are, what we call debris generators, and the spacecraft is moving so fast through the system, 32,000 miles per hour, even hitting a little rice pellet size piece of dust could, blow a hole in the spacecraft. We spent a couple of years worrying about that. We finally got to the point where we realized that, we were flying through the safest part of the Pluto system, the part that was cleared out by Sharon. extremely unlikely that you know, anything bad will happen to the spacecraft, but you know, we won't know for sure until we get the word tonight.
Well, I mean, that's what happens. You're flying into the unknown.
Yeah.
Part of this like, exploration, this part of space, into a zone that we just don't know really anything about. You're going to some place you don't know, and I think that maybe that seems some of the anxiety why this has some people on edge.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, okay, you know, you've always said from the beginning of this how you just couldn't wait to watch Pluto turn from a speck, from a dot, into a real world, and I think you've had a chance to do that over the past several months. Tell what that's been like.
Yeah, so maybe we can take everyone here on that journey from, you know, we've actually been observing Pluto since January. This is really a 6-month Pluto tour. We can bring up the slides and show you where we started from. You know, this is, you know, this is the best we can do in January, and keep going. You go to the next one, it's just getting better. Next one,
Color there, yeah.
better. It's becoming a real world. You know, not these little pinpoints. Look at all the structures on this thing. It looks like they're craters, these, you know, all this incredible structure. And, you know, pointing out with the, you know, possible cliffs. We had the heart, the whale. You know, all these features on Pluto's surface that we've been naming, coating them with beautiful color. And finally, the image that we had today, the best detail yet. And now, in false color, this isn't what the eye would see, but this is, you know, it's not a cheat. These are real colors that we've taken with our color camera, and just looking at the differences and stretching the images so that you can see the contrast between one piece of the, you know, one portion of the planet and the other. And it's just remarkable how much diversity there is on Pluto. And you see the heart there actually gets broken into 2 parts, or 2 ventricles, you know, almost. So, and to think that the data that we get tomorrow, the images that we get tomorrow are going to be 10 times higher resolution than those images that we were just now showing from earlier today.
I mean, so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
Even for what's coming back here. Take us to the steps too, because I think some folks, you know, there's a lot of excitement. Even just today to see that, the immediate, it's going to require a little bit of patience, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, we've picked out some of the choicest observations, to, you know, the best imaging, some representative data from each of the instruments on New Horizons to send back over the next couple of days. We take a lot more than what we're going to be sending back right now. We're taking thousands of images, and it's going to take quite a while for us to get all of the data down. It'll in fact take, you know, more than a year to get all of the data down, but I think that from what we get in the next week, we get a good, you know, we're going to get a great idea of exactly how complex the Pluto system is and what's in store for us as we sit there on our, you know, the next few trove.
How let's go back into mission operations. Mark, you've been a mission operations manager on several projects. The near mission around asteroid Eros, you know, comes to mind. And I mean, how do you prepare for a moment like tonight? I mean, operations teams all the time. You know, you're getting signals back from the spacecraft, you're talking to it, but on a night like tonight, where you know it's a big one. Prepare for
yeah, this is a very special night. They're going to bring up all their favorite displays to look at the telemetry they're used to looking at, to assess the systems. They know they have about 15 minutes to do their assessment and before they're polled. You know, I'm sure they're all set up and ready to go. So there's sort of like this long, quiet period where they start reflecting back on the mission, like a lot of us are tonight. And they start telling stories and sort of reflecting on some of the good times and some of the not so good times.
What are they listening for in mission operations tonight?
Well, initially they're going to be listening for base receivers lock up on the bit stream, and we get data lock. And at that point,
so that means that it's talking New Horizons and the ground stations are talking.
Yeah, at that point we'll know that the spacecraft's alive and healthy, and more than likely configured properly, otherwise it wouldn't be transmitting at the data rate we're looking for. And it'll take a little while, though, for the packets to come in that the engineers need to look at to make their assessment. And then some time will pass, but I think initially you're going to hear a bit of an uproar coming from the Ops Center once we get to that point. And
once
then,
that lock is on, right? Once
yeah.
you know they've made a connection with New Horizons,
Right.
expect one, and then the
Yeah.
next step after that, then as you're saying, is
Yeah.
to make sure it's healthy. They go through the
Yeah,
steps.
Alice, the mission ops manager, will have to sort of call to order and ask people to start doing what they're there to do, and that's, you know, perform their assessment and report status.
Okay, so, you know, when your spacecraft is 3 billion miles away, there's no such thing as real-time operations. I mean, the signal that New Horizons sends home tonight actually left the spacecraft some 4.5 hours ago. Now, if we take a look at New Horizons now through NASA's Eyes on the Solar System program, we can see the spacecraft is some 400,000 miles past Pluto. I mean, going through its post-flyby observations of the system, I mean, it still has some work to do as it's past there, and you can see this on here. Now, you can ride along with New Horizons on eyes.nasa.gov. Now, in just a few minutes, we'll be waiting to see if New Horizons will be delivering the goods that lead to a host of discoveries about this unknown region of deep space. You know, but the entire mission can trace its roots back to a single discovery in 1930. When a Kansas farm boy named Clyde Tombaugh, diligently scanning photographic plates at Lowell Observatory, found Pluto. Now here's a look at the discoverer from two people who knew him well.
My name is Annette Tombaugh, and I am Clyde Tombaugh's oldest child.
I'm Alden Tombaugh. I'm his son. A lot of the details of the discovery of Pluto actually started with my father telling my sister and I about how he got the opportunity to be in the discovery process at Lowell Observatory.
It started out in farming. He worked with the soil. Well, when he moved to Kansas, there were a lot of fossils there. And he wondered about life on other worlds, other planets.
He didn't have the opportunity at that time to go to college. They had had several bad years of crop because of the weather conditions. They barely had enough money to reseed their next year's crops.
He started out building telescopes, and he enjoyed working with glass. He liked the process of grinding the mirrors and putting the optics together and assembling it all and using leftovers from the farm equipment to make them. He came out of the Depression, and he used everything he could.
The first one was a pretty miserable failure in his words. And then the third one he built was the 9-inch. And that turned out to be a very good telescope. And it enabled him to be able to draw pictures of his Mars observations.
When he first wrote to Lowell Observatory, he wanted them to give him suggestions to build better telescopes. And so he sent them some of his drawings of Mars and Jupiter, and they wrote back that they would like to hire him to work there. He had to pour the emulsions for the photographic plates, because in those days you poured your own emulsions. So the surface of the plates had to be slightly curved. They would break. So he redesigned the plate holder so that they wouldn't have that problem.
Then is when he had to really buckle down to the drudgery of looking for a planet.
He did it on a blink comparator. It takes time. You do the exposures, then maybe a week later or even longer, you blink the plates on the blink comparator back and forth, and then you would verify. You would predict where it would be at another particular night.
We got a pretty clear indication at that point in time of how much work it really did take, because just of the massive number of objects that he had to scan.
And these are little tiny specks of light. They're like fly specks on a piece of glass. He thought he had found something, so he got up and went into Dr. Lamplin's office and said, "Dr. Lamplin, I believe I have found your planet X." For a minute, he was the only one that knew that there was another object out there, another planet. And that made him feel elated, unusual. Then he later on, when we moved to New Mexico, he worked for White Sands on the V-2 rockets, tracking them and designing paint patterns that would make it easier to track them. As he got older, it got harder and harder for him to move his telescopes around to inspire other people to teach him, to take them out to the schools.
He mounted it on an old lawnmower base in order to make it easily transportable.
And it worked out beautifully, and he just put it in a little shed, and somebody come over and he'd pull it out. We call it the grazer gazer, as in grazing, mowing the lawn and gazing at the stars. I think my dad would be thrilled with the New Horizon. I mean, who wouldn't be? When he looked at Pluto, it was just a speck of light.
Some of my father's ashes are on that spacecraft, and part of him got to visit the speck on the plates that he discovered in 1930. It's going to be something that has become an integral part of our lives and our family's lives.
He would have been astounded. And I'm sure that to have the planet that you discovered better defined, better understood, it would have meant so much to him.
You know, Mark, there's a lot of history around APL this week as we celebrate, New Horizons' own historic achievement. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Mariner 4's flight to Mars, which gave us our first close-up look at the red planet. And of course, I'll acknowledge too that the Tombaws are here in the audience tonight with their families, as well as Jim Christie, who discovered Pluto in 1978. There's for Sharon. Only one discovery of Pluto, I'll point out Jim Christie discovered Sharon in 1978. We're also joined, Sylvia Day Thomas here with us this week, the daughter of Gerard Kuiper, the namesake of the vast Kuiper Belt where Pluto resides. Also, too, we have a few of our Pluto pals, kids who were born on the day New Horizons or turned 10 on that day on January 19th, 2006. And of course, for those around the world, there's opportunity to join in this conversation on NASA Social through various means. I mean, there's the NASA website, www.nasa.gov/New Horizons, on Twitter, @NASA New Horizons, with the hashtag Pluto Flyby. So many options on social media. In fact, I'm going to check in with Jason Townsend from NASA Social. There has been so much activity on social media today, starting with, well, before that picture came out this morning, but after that, things just blew up. What's going on, Jason?
All right, New Horizons has had an absolutely incredible day online. I mean, the mission and its Pluto flyby, it's been trending all day long, remaining the top stories basically on Facebook and Twitter today. We've had several hours of engagement where our experts have been out from the mission, have been out answering your questions. They've answered hundreds of them through things like a Reddit AMA and Ask Me Anything, which ended up on the front page of Reddit. We had a Facebook Q&A where you literally asked thousands of questions of our experts. And we also had a tweet chat on @NASA New Horizons where we were able to answer a lot of your questions on Twitter. We've also had a lot of brands, celebrities, and social media influencers out there who've been engaging with us on this historic event. And although we're still crunching the numbers, today might very well be NASA's biggest day ever on social media with regard to engagement and reach. So this morning's sneak peek image on Instagram has been the most popular image that NASA has ever posted to Instagram, with over 295,000 likes and growing. We've had over 49,000 folks who have retweeted this morning's New Horizon tweet announcing the moment that the spacecraft flew by Pluto. And the best part, really, throughout the entire day has been seeing the excitement while following this conversation online. It's truly been energetic and absolutely inspiring. So keep following along with NASA and New Horizons on @NASA New Horizons, our Facebook pages, our Instagram account, and on our Google Plus account. So keep following along.
All right, great, Jason. Thank you. We're getting close, Mark.
Very close.
When you were at the console about this time, you're waiting for something, you're waiting for the signal for something to happen. What did it feel like?
Extremely anxious. Yes.
I mean, whether it was something to put something in orbit or even just something as simple. I mean, would you ever stress out so much just for a signal?
No, I mean, you just have to sit there and wait. You have to be patient. And on this mission, you learn, patience is a virtue.
Especially on this one, right after 9.5 years, right? What's a few more minutes to wait for something else to happen?
What's a couple of minutes?
Okay. I think we can go to mission operations right now, so let's take a look inside.
Okay, we're in lock with carrier. Stand by for telemetry.
Okay. We show target in lock at 005274. We are waiting for that.
Second channel's going to
Mission Operations Manager Alice Bowman in the console. Carl Wittenberg, Mission Operations team next to her.
What were you saying?
On the Deep Space Network.
In lock on symbols.
So that's the first step to getting data.
Okay, copy that. We're in lock with telemetry with the spacecraft.
See a lot of green numbers in that board, too.
Yeah, green is good.
Yeah.
You gotta get that, man.
Okay, subsystems, as you get enough.
Look at that.
Wow.
Subsystems, please report your status as you get enough data.
So now the subsystems will be reporting their status.
Mom, this is RF on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, RF.
RF is reporting nominal carrier power, nominal symbol-to-noise ratio for the telemetry. RF is nominal.
Copy that, RF nominal.
Mom, this is Autonomy on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, Autonomy.
Autonomy is very happy to report nominal status. No rules have fired.
That was big.
Mom, this is CNDH on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, CNDH.
CNDH reports nominal status. Our SSR pointers are where we expect them to be, which means we have recorded the expected amount of data.
Oh my God.
Copy that. Looks like we have a good data report.
all hardware is healthy, and we have a good number of thruster counts.
Copy that. GNC is healthy.
Mom, this is propulsion on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, prop.
Propulsion is nominal. Tank pressure is 176.8.
Copy that. Propulsion system is nominal.
Mom, this is power on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, power.
Power system, all telemetry is nominal. Hardware is healthy.
Copy that. Nominal for power.
Mom, this is thermal on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, thermal.
Thermal reports nominal, all temperatures green.
Copy that. Thermal is nominal. All temperatures green. Okay. PI, Mom on Pluto 1. We have a healthy spacecraft. We've recorded data of the Pluto system, and we're outbound for Pluto.
Yeah, that's it.
Feel the energy. Oh, boy, I'm relieved.
Sorry, I can't express how I feel. I'm shaking. This is just fantastic. Just like we planned it. Just like we practiced. I mean, we did it. It's just great. Yeah.
I guess for anyone, for the few people who didn't know who that was that came barging in the room when that happened, that was a slightly happy mission principal investigator, Alan Stern, who has just poured so much time, investment, heart, soul, like so many people on the New Horizons team to get to this point. Mark, I guess it's kind of hard to be impartial sitting here to watch this, but your thoughts on this?
Well, I can't say, how proud I am to be part of the team and of the team for all the efforts they've made building the spacecraft and testing it and flying it for over 9 years to get to this point. It's really an amazing accomplishment. How often do we unlock the secrets, of a new world? We did that today. How cool is that?
We had a chance to see there too briefly NASA Administrator Charles Bolden and Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, John Grunsfeld, in Mission Operations with Alice Bowman. I mean, a tremendous day for the New Horizons mission. So weird that we're back here. A little more of the atmosphere in there, but we're going to reset here at APL for a media briefing, approximately around 9:30. We want to give the participants time to get here for mission operations. And tomorrow, we expect our first post-flyby looks at the Pluto system sent back from a healthy and very much alive New Horizons spacecraft. I said, bring on the Discovery. So that's our program for tonight. I'd stay tuned for NASA Flyby Media Briefing live from APL. I'm Mike Buckley, and for Mark Holdridge and the entire NASA New Horizons team, thanks for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to wait just a few minutes to be able to meet the VIPs from the mock, the people that you just saw on the screens, come into the main building in just a few minutes. They will be here soon, and you will have a chance to meet the people from the Mission Operations Control. Please come and meet these people because they are what made this happen. Thank you.
All the telemetry data memberitahu bahawa probe itu sihat. So bila menteri semua dapat tunjuk yang bukan ambil masa dan seperti yang diberitahu bahawa gambar itu akan berkeluar malam ni. Saya
sebenarnya black instrumen yang panggil memang black and white saja. They will have the color punya camera which they will take today atau tapi gambar tu tidak akan dinampak hari ini lah. So actually yang nampak color tu actually for visual sekarang lah for the moment. Sebab the real color will be after this lah.
Ya, kasi kenapa color tu red? Kan? Before this we thought Pluto was blue.
Biru lah. Color tu is not the actual color, is add-on. The original black and white, dia tak ada color. The love shape is the crater, right? Crater is impact dengan another flying object lah, which we happen to be the shape of heart lah. Which kalau kat Valentine Day tu orang happy tu.
Tapi kalau kita lihat dalam temu ramah tadi ya, gambar love tu separuh warna biru, separuh lagi lain. Okay? So bila real color diletakkan dan apa ni lah sebenarnya kita akan tahu. Cuma warnanya yang kemerahan itu masih belum lagi diketahui. Sebab daripada image sebelum ni dia seperti planet Mare, dia kemerahan tu. So that biasanya merah ni sebenarnya ialah ferrum besi yang apa? Besi karat, warna besi karat. Mungkin unsur tu, tapi kita tak dapat confirmation lagi lah. That red is because of ada besi karat di sana. Mungkin macam planet Mare. Saya juga merasakan sebelum ni bahawa Pluto biru sebab dia sejuk kan, ada ais. Nampaknya New Horizon memberikan jawapan sebenar, dia a bit reddish.
So nak verify balik, New Horizon punya main objective is to capture Pluto punya image lah, bukan go throughout punya cloud tu lah.
Dia punya main ialah itu.
Main Pluto lah.
Okay. Yang secondary ni ialah Kuiper Belt tu lah.
Gone too far, so why not teruskan je lah.
Yes. And we hope that we will find something new di situ. Ada mungkin objek baru yang akan ditemukan.
They call it. Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief transition to the media briefing. Also, please note that there is only one live NASA TV event tomorrow from 3 to 4 p.m. Again, there will now be a brief transition to the media briefing. Please note that there will be only one live NASA TV event tomorrow at 3 to 4 p.m. Thank you so much.
So kita tiga pagi lah kalau ada 3 petang. So Asmida memang working round the clock. Muka dia pun dah macam Pluto. Okey, ada apa lagi soalan? Kita pun tidak tahu banyak. Setakat yang kita boleh ni lah. We hope tidak ada apa-apa berlaku. Tak ada. So apa ni? Kita harapkan dia terus sihat lah dalam apa ni, beberapa hari ni untuk menghantarkan image. Dan sekarang dia semakin menjauhi Pluto, semakin jauh. Jadi gambar pun tak cantik semasa di semalam tu. Bila dia dekat betul, itu gambar yang paling cantik. Okey, dia sebenarnya cukup suspense. Okey, 9 tahun bekerja. Macam mana kalau tadi data tak ada? Oh, frustration kan? 9 years working, day and night. 3 billion ringgit. Cost dia ialah 3 billion ringgit. So
3 billion ringgit just to build
the project tu.
The project.
The launch dengan Spacecraft semua.
I think the actual amount is 720 million US dollars.
Lebih kurang 3 billion.
Inclusive of the building of spacecraft, their education outreach program, their operation. I think it's quite inclusive of everything for that amount of money.
So just imagine after 3 billion spend and then tadi tak ada data. Oh, frustration.
As explained earlier, because it takes 4 hours to to send the signal to come here, and because of the low data rate, you can't actually have a real time thing, because it's just impossible to have a real time.
So image Pluto yang ditunjuk tadi bukan dalam studio ya. Sebab ramai yang anggap US akan buat dalam studio. It's real. Dia tak ambil dari mana-mana. Dia tak ditipu. So ada lagi kemusykilan lain? So the best I think semasa dan antena untuk berkomunikasi dengan New Horizon ada di 3 negara, US, California, ada satu lagi di Canberra, Australia, dan satu lagi di Spain. Ada tiga antena. So 3 inilah yang berkomunikasi dengan satelit. Okey, dan bayangkan ya, daripada bumi bila dia nak communicate, dia tembak dia punya signal tu dan dia sampai dekat New Horizon dia tak tersasar sana. This is the longest hole in one. Kalau main golf pukul sekali di bumi kan, komunikasi tu sampai tu dekat satelit tu. 5 billion kilometer hole in one. Terus masuk dalam lubang. So just imagine the communication challenge. Dia tidak tersasar komunikasi tu. Terlepas ke tempat lain, bounce kat mana ke. So very accurate. So teknologi itu sebenarnya yang US nak. Okay. Bila kita bina salah satu mission tu, sebenarnya that teknologi tu yang now America is having it. Dia boleh jual komunikasi jarak jauh. Yang kita tak ada teknologi tu. So they know how to do it dan dia dah berjaya for very long range punya communication. So mereka akan komersialkan saya rasa. So kalau ke Pluto boleh communicate dengan baik, apatah lagi di bumi, maknanya komunikasi mereka akan makin baik. Another aspect juga lah yang boleh diuraikan.
Okey, kita boleh beritahu fakta-fakta menarik.
Fakta menarik apa yang menarik? Semuanya menarik. Apa lagi yang menarik Mungkin kalau ada sebenarnya yang menjadi curiosity all yang menarik kita nak tahu. So alien belum ada tanda-tandanya. So kita tunggu. Kita lihat muka siapa yang akan keluar bila image tu sampai besok Kalau ada muka Asmida, that means
alien nanti.
Dia alien.
Actually, Pluto orbit around the Sun in 246 years in a punya shape lah. So now it's considered the closest juga lah, because the closest is about 4.4 billion. The farthest would be 7.4 billion. So if kita tak pergi sekarang, in the next 200 years probably you akan dekat lagi lah. You can go also for the 7.4 billion, but it will take more time to go there lah.
Dan kapal New Horizon menggunakan bahan api daripada tenaga nuklear. Bahan tu nama dia plutonium. Pluto juga. Plutonium nama bahan. So dia menggunakan RTG, radioisotope thermal generator. Jadi bahan apinya ialah menggunakan tenaga nuklear.
Actually, the one is for the power supply. Power supply. They use bahan api yang sebenarnya hydrazine. Because they don't have battery, so in terms of they cannot use solar because it's too far away. They cannot get good solar source for the solar power generation. They have to use this nuclear power for the thermal power generation. It generates around only 200 watt power, which is probably equivalent to one lamp. All the instrument is very efficient, which means the total spacecraft use less than 200 watt to operate. And the scientific instrument, they have 7 scientific instruments which operate around 2 to 10 watt only. So it's very, the power of miniaturization, the advance of technology.
iPhone
power the gigahertz, 8 gigabyte, which again they want to use some space grade component to be sure of the survival because the radiation issue, so we can't actually fly a smartphone. It won't probably last that long if you fly a smartphone, but there are some student projects they are using smartphone to fly now, and it's quite interesting to know their result. And what else? I think Pluto and the Moon Charon is actually a binary system, which means it's so close to each other. The rotation center is actually outside of both planets. Like Earth is rotating on the center of the Earth, but it's rotating around like the binary system. They're rotating around a center point outside of the planet because they are so close together. So it's called the only known binary planet in the solar system. And the rotation rate both is 6.5 days to complete one rotation. Pluto day, one Pluto day is 6.4 days.
Okay, ada lagi? Sampai di sini.
Everything okay?
Kalau lepas ni bolehlah ke NASA punya website.
Kita dapatkan gambar kali besok.
Kita tunggu gambar pula. Okay, kalau itu saya ucap terima kasih dan saya serah kepada Asmida untuk
Okay, thank you for coming everybody. So if you have any questions, kalau macam tak pasti untuk this, you takut info you salah, you can just send email your article. Kalau perlulah rasa confident, okay, teruskan. So you have my phone number, right?